वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह। लगता नहीं तुसी तरो ताज़ा होयो। एक बार फिर वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह। साढ़े दरम्यान कुछ शख्सियतां पुजियां ने, असी उन्हां दा जी आया करदे हां। साढ़े नैक्सट स्पीकर डॉक्टर P.J. सिंह जी बहुत ज़्यादा इंट्रोडक्शन दे मुहताज नहीं, पर फिर भी कुछ गल्लां मैं तुहाडे नाल उन्हां दियां शेयर करां। सैल्फ मेड बहुत वड्डी कंपनी दे वो संस्थापक टाइनर इंडिया, जिहड़े मैडिकल इक्विपमेंट्स तुसी हस्पतालां च देखदे हो, ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड उन्हां दे वो जिहड़े इक्विपमेंट्स ने वो डॉक्टर्स रिकमेंड करते हैं। बहुत प्यार वाले बहुत सारिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दे विच वो चेयरपर्सन होंदे ने, चैंबर ऑफ कमर्स दे चेयरपर्सन, बहुत जगह ते इन्ने बिजी शेड्यूल चों उन्होंने साडे लई समा कढ़िया तुहाडे रूबरू होणगे। मैं बहुता समा ना लैंदा होया डॉक्टर साहब नूं रिक्वेस्ट करांगा कि वो तुहाडे रूबरू होण ते एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ते तुहाडे नाल गलबात करनगे। आओ डॉक्टर साहब, वेलकम।
वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। इत्थे आके बड़ा चंगा लग्या ये जान के कि इन्ने वड्डे ग्रुप नूं बहुपक्षी प्रोफैशनल नॉलेज दी जा रही है इस कैंप दे विच। ते मेरे तो पहला भी काफ़ी स्पीकर्स डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स से बोल के गए। द टॉपिक गिवन टू मी इज़ in fact to talk on entrepreneurship, पर मैनू इत्थे आके इदां लग्या कि rather than being very professional, let's make it like a story. It's a storytelling of my life where I would also talk of कि जिस जगह पे जिस पड़ाव प्रॉब्लम्स आईयां की आईयां किवें सॉल्व होईयां ते उहदे चों लर्निंग्स की सी, उसका फ़ायदा जिहड़ा है वो शायद मेरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नूं तां होया जो असी एलीमेंट्स जो असी इनपुट्स कीतियां, पर तुहानूं भी फ़ायदा होएगा क्योंकि बहुत सारे तुसी सोच रहे होवोगे अपना किता अपना बिजनेस करन दा, rather than getting employed, be an employer, give employment to so many. So that might be one of your dreams. Maybe this humble attempt will help you there. I sometimes urge people that in professional lectures, let us stick to English. असी माँ बोली पंजाबी नूं पिछे नहीं करना चाहते। एट द सेम टाइम प्रोफैशनलिज्म अज डिमांड करती है कि असी इंटरनैशनलाइज होईए ते असी उस भाषा नूं उस चंगे तरीके नाल करिए ते आपां मिक्स जी भाषा रखांगे। मैनूं पता है मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर इन योर फाइनल ईयर प्रोफैशनल कोर्सिस, बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स हैं, डॉक्टर्स हैं ते होर डिफरेंट डिग्रीज करते पे ने। तो मैं अज की गलबात शुरू करदा फ्रॉम अ वेरी सिंपल स्टोरी। when I was just like you in my final year, of my degree, which was B Farm, and then I did my M Farm. तो M Farm ਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁਝ महीने रहंदे सी कंप्लीट होते, तो a very simple question was always there in my mind: what to do next, whether to get employed somewhere or be an employer. ਤਾਂ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਪਾਸੇ ਬੜੇ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਨੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਪਲੋਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬੜੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, you just get into a job, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਲਾਈਫ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। You have ample time for your hobbies, you have ample time for your family, right? So a lot of stability to your life comes immediately. On the other hand, मैं सोचता सी कि अगर बिजनेस किया ਉਹਦੇ ਵੀ बड़े मज़ेदार एडवांटेजेस ने। सब तो बड़ा एडवांटेज, yes, that you have a lot of money, right? So I come from a humble family. The desire to have a lot of money was absolutely great. To own a big car, maybe a Maserati, maybe a Rolls Royce, maybe a Maybach, was actually huge, right? So being in business, I would think that I will have an opportunity to contribute to the society, to become an important person in the society. So all that, would go up in my mind, but that discussion within me, that debate within me would end up with an overwhelming vote towards that I should become a businessman. So I decided one day, yes, I will be a businessman, and then started the next struggle, how to start. I will, before I go further, I just tell you the context, right, so that you understand what we are talking of. And that context is that this is the year 30 years back, or maybe 31 years back. Second, that this business that I'm talking of was started with 50,000 odd rupees, and the value of the business today that we are talking of is 5,000 crores, right? So you know the journey now. So that is the context I'm trying to set, right? So our company is valued more than $500 million. Why I'm sharing this is so that you have the context of it. Anyway, so when the time came that I had to start the business, so I also encountered the same problems that any business startup would encounter, right? So the first is what to make, what product to make. Second is where will the technology come from. Third is how to market the product. And fourth is maybe where to get the money from. So they are very common, simple issues that everybody would encounter. So I would one by one take you through that journey. How did I really think through this problem? So the first being, what product to make. What product to make to me was like, why not make something which India is not making? That means India is importing. For sure, India doesn't make that, but the demand is there. So that was the thought. With that thought, I went to the office of DGFT. DGFT is Director General Foreign Trade. So this guy, handles all imports and exports of the country. So I asked him, "Okay, boss, tell me, what India imports within medical devices?" I was a B Farm, M Farm, so I came from a medical background. The domain was chosen that I should be in medical line, but I did not know what product to make. Right? So I asked him what medical devices India import. And then he placed a book this thick with almost 1,000 pages, and each page having more than 30 lines, items. And he says, this is what India imports. And imagine that, to me it looked that India doesn't make anything. So in a way I was very happy that now I can make anything. I was also sad, India doesn't make anything. But it still did not resolve my problem. What to make out of these 10-20,000 items, right? So then I said, okay, give me this book. And then I thought of another strategy. Okay, let me go to the market, do a kind of a market survey, which were not very common those days, because that was the era when there was no internet. That was the era when there was no emails. So what you do, there was no Excel. So what you do, you had to do it physically, going there, making sheets. I did it. A very organized market survey during by those standards. It was a very organized one. Why? I had certain objectives. Objectives की सन कि सब तो पहला कि the product should be in demand. वो आज भी डिमांड होना चाहिए है, ते फ्यूचर च भी डिमांड होना चाहिए है. That was the first objective. Second was that there should be huge profit in it. Third was, of course, that since I did not have money, that initially it should not require much capex, capital expenditure. And fourth, which was very important, was also that even if I am able to start small, it should be scalable. Tomorrow I can make it as big as I want. So with these, I went to about 10 odd cities and I surveyed 100 chemists in each city. So about 1,000 sample data I got, and what came out of it was that India does not make orthopedic appliances. If it makes, it's very low quality, and if it is imported, they are very, very high priced. Either way, it's not fit for the common man. So I chose this product, right, because it almost fit into all those criteria that I had set for myself. So now I had the first problem resolved, what to make. Then I went on to solving the next problem. The next was where to get the technology from. Because there were not many manufacturers in India, right? So getting the technology was one of the key, let's say, requirements. Again, I thought you might feel that's a very fickle way of solving the problem. But then I thought that the easiest way to get technology is to have a foreign collaboration, because Indian manufacturers were not there. So I started writing letters to the biggest brands of the world, right? Today it's very easy. आज बड़ा सौखा है, ईमेल ते तुसी वेबसाइट नेट ते जाओ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਮੇਲ ਲਿਖੋ, 10 ਮਿੰਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੇਲ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਅਗਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਜਵਾਬ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਉਦੋਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਡੇਟਾ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ, ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸੋ ਆਈ ਵੈਂਟ ਟੂ ਵੇਰੀਅਸ ਐम्बेसीज। मैं उत्थे क्या जाके कि भाई ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੈਸਟ ਮੈਨੂਫੈਕਚਰਰਸ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਫੀਲਡ ਦੇ, ਨਾਓ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਵਾਸ ਚੋਜ਼ਨ, ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕੀਤੀ। ਮੈਂ 10-12 ਕੰਟਰੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਡ ਕੰਟਰੀਜ਼ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਐਮਬੈਸੀਜ਼ 'ਚ ਗਿਆ। ਦੇ ਵਰ ਵੈਰੀ ਹੈਲਪਫੁਲ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਡੇਟਾ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ, ਐਡਰੈਸਿਸ ਮਿਲ ਗਏ, ਮੈਂ ਚਿੱਠੀਆਂ ਲਿਖੀਆਂ, ਤੇ ਮਜ਼ੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਸਭ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਵੀ ਆਇਆ। I wrote letters to about 50 odd manufacturers of the world, the best ones, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਚਿੱਠੀ 'ਚ ਲਿਖਦਾ ਕੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਲੈਬੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਟੈਕਨੀਕਲ ਕੋਲੈਬੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ, ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਬਣਾਵਾਂਗੇ, ਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਹੈਜ਼ ਅ ਹਿਊਜ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ, ਸੋ ਆਈ ਕੈਨ ਬੀ ਯੋਰ go to man to bring this entire market, entire business to you. So they were very excited, so that is why everybody wrote back. But then they would ask for my credentials, what is the size of my company, what I am going to contribute, कितना पैसा मैं लगावांगा, मैं की करदा, कितनी बड़ी मेरी कंपनी है, all these things they asked, and I had none to share, right? But in the end, nothing matured. But in the process, I found there was a lot that came out of it. I got around 50 catalogs. Many of them they sent products. Many of them sent their details of technologies, a bit of that. Many of them sent the raw materials, their USPs, and so much data was there with me. And do you know that the data was more than what any Indian would have that time? By a single process, I had more knowledge on the subject than any other company, any other Indian would have on the subject. But still, it did not solve my problem. I was far away from the technology. So then I said that there are small substandard manufacturers in India. Why not look for one who can make the product for me? So I found one in Delhi. I went to him and I convinced him, boss, whatever you make, I will buy 100%. And I'll help you to improve your product. He was very happy because a single buyer, he was a small guy, a cottage industry he was running, Trans Yamuna, and he was very happy to kind of partner with me. I would teach him how to improve the product, and he was happy to manufacture for me. So for the moment, technology was there with me. So I had the product, which was improved, which was better than what India was selling at that point of time. And the next problem is, we all know how to sell it. So I again was looking at a small methodology how to, sell the product. To sell, I in fact used the myths of those times. I wanted to create a great perception of the company, a great illusion of the company, that it is a great company. Because public understands a few words, and those words create that magic in their mind, and the perception of the company is built. मैं example देना ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ। मान लो somebody says I make pizzas, you have a perception, but the other guy says we make artisanal pizzas. Your perception changes. Somebody says I make bread, But if a word like I make sourdough bread, right? Suddenly the value of the same bread goes up, right? Similarly, as you start writing the right adjectives in front of your simple product, the perception of the consumer public changes very fast, right? The same product, bread, which selling for 10 rupees was difficult, now is being sold at 20 rupees happily, correct? So that's how the perception makes a lot of difference. I wanted to create a perception around my company which was yet to start. So first of all, the perception was that big companies are from Mumbai, Bombay those days. So I took up a small office, wrote the address on my letterhead, the company is from Bombay. The first perception. Then nobody those days would have product catalogs, multicolored product catalogs. We were the first ones in our trade to have those. Similarly, nobody would have box packaging. We were the first ones to have box packaging. All were selling in poly bags only. Nobody would give an instruction leaflet, right? So we did a few things like that. And another one, the brand called as Tynor. You know, brand itself has a big perception value. So the time came to coin the name. So I was from academics, and we guys from academics, straight from the college, we always go back to books to solve our issues. So I started reading a book, How to Coin a Brand. ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਸੀ a few things. Number one, that it should be 5-lettered. Brands 5 letter ਦੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ. ਦੂਜਾ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬੜੇ ਨਾਈਸਲੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਨਾਊਂਸ ਹੋ ਸਕਣ, ਨਾਈਸਲੀ ਸਾਊਂਡਿੰਗ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਹੈ, ਈਜ਼ੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਨਾਊਂਸ. ਤੀਸਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਹਰਬਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਹੈ, ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਹੈ, then it should have a vernacular Indian kind of sounding name. But if it is a technology product, it should be more international European name, right? Then it should have no meaning. To create an enigma around the brand, you should have a story around it, right? And if you are selling the product to masses, then it should be all small letters. If you are selling the product to only the elite, they should be capital. Otherwise, pehla capital, baki chota, right? So this was somehow I got from the book. So I started contemplating how to design my brand. So there was a sentence written, 2 brothers in orthopedics, on my notebook. Since we are 2 brothers planning to go into this business, one was much younger, so I was just planning to take him along. So 2 brothers in orthopedics was the line written. So I said, why not shorten it? So we started shortening it. 2 brothers in orthopedics, 2 brothers in ortho, 2 in ortho, 2 in or, and then Tynor. Arrived at a 5-lettered word which was sufficiently international in its sound. Now it's nice to pronounce. And I sent this to about 20 of my friends asking ke acha comment karna hai brand kiddan da hai. And everybody said the same, that they liked it. It is a very international name. And this is how the brand was there. Correct? We created an illusion, a nice illusion around the company, and then we went to the market with all that what I have said. ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ, ਰੈਸਟੋਰੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੌਪ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਣਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਂਡ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸਣਾ। ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਡਿਸਪਲੇਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਉਹ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ ਤੇ ਮਾਲ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਡਿਪੋਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਲੈਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ। Day one I'm talking of, and you know that ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਵੀ ਸਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੰਬੀ ਲਾਈਨ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਸੀ। The distributors would queue up to take our distribution with the advance, with the deposit, and in no time ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਰਡਰਸ ਹੀ ਆਰਡਰ ਸੀ। ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਰਵੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਗੁੱਡਸ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਾਰਟੇਜ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ here there was a company which was offering them a complete solution better than what was available in Indian market at that point of time. So the brand was hit the first day. ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਤੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਟਰਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਡਿਪੋਜ਼ਿਟ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਐਡਵਾਂਸ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ। All I would do is then go to send the orders to that Trans Yamuna Delhi guy and he would supply that. So suddenly the company became a good brand, well known, sought after, with a lot of money. ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 'ਚੋਂ ਕਈਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਬਣਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਆਸਾਨ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਇਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਫਰਾਡ ਸੀ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਵੀ ਓਵਰਨਾਈਟ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਬਣ ਗਈ। ਸੋ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਵਾਟ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਟਰਾਈਂਗ ਟੂ ਸੇ ਕਿ ਬ੍ਰਾਂਡ ਇਲੂਜ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਡਜ਼ ਦੈਟ ਬ੍ਰਾਂਡ ਇਲੂਜ਼ਨ ਇਜ਼ ਇਨਫ? We'll talk it off later. पर होया कि फोर्थ एलिमेंट रह गया अपना, and that was capital. पैसा कित्थों आएगा? क्यों रह गया? कि उहदी लोड़ ही नहीं महसूस हुई। We were always cash rich first day without money because deposits ही इन्ने सी। ते दूजी गल, we would buy in credit, 2 महीनों का credit, sell in cash. Company would always have lots of money, so capex was not required actually, and all the 4 issues were resolved. But this fairy tale did not last very long. Why? Because this guy would not supply the orders on time. He sometimes would do a lot of mistakes, or he would not deliver the quality that was agreed upon. And when he saw so many orders coming, he immediately jacked up the price. We had agreed not to increase the price for 2 years, but he did it. There were so many problems that were coming to me from the market कि एक दिन बड़ा गुस्सा आया तो I went to Delhi. फोन उदों बड़े कॉमन नहीं होंदे सी। I went to Delhi ते बड़े गुस्से च, I abused him left, right and center. And we Punjabis are very good at that. ਤੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਲੜਾਈ ਹੋਈ। ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਓ ਦਫਾ ਹੋ। ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਹੈਪੀ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਹੀ ਹੈਡ ਦ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ, ਹੀ ਨਿਊ ਵਾਟ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਵਿਦ ਹਿਜ਼ ਓਨ ਲਾਈਫ, ਐਂਡ ਦ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਕੇਮ ਟੂ ਅ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਸਟਿਲ। ਸੋ ਦ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਪਾਰਟ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ डिप्रेसिव पार्ट भी, less than 1 year we could see. But then after, let's say, a few weeks of depression, when things subsided and I took stock of the situation, ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਉਨੀ ਮਾੜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੋਚੀ ਸੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਅਕੰਪਲਿਸ਼ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਪਹਿਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਿ ਯੈਸ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਇਜ਼ ਇਨ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਰਵੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ। ਦੂਜਾ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਦੀ ਮੈਨੂਫੈਕਚਰਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਨੌਲੇਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਸੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਰੋਜ਼ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਸੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਸੀ। ਤੇ ਤੀਸਰਾ ਕਿ lot of these distributors that I had were really annoyed with me, but still had a lot of trust in me and wanted to continue with me. But sab to vadda, I also had a lot of money with me. So that gave me enough strength to start once all over again. And this time I was very clear that rather than relying on any substandard supplier, I would rather make my product, manufacture it in my own factory. So this is where the real journey of business started. A lot of problems, but a lot of accomplishments. But then this is the topic I would like each one of you to understand. If you are writing, you can write, because this is the most important part I'm going to tell you, that we laid the theoretical foundation of the company, right, with 5 principles. And those 5 principles, before I tell, I would like to talk of a phrase, business phrase, and then I tell how did we go further. So that phrase is that every business should have a winning strategy, right? We all know. And that phrase is that to win, either you should be the first. To win, either you should be the first, or you should be different, or you should be better. If you can't be better, then you should work harder. If you can't work harder, then choose an easier game. If you can't choose an easier game, find a great partner. If you can't find a great partner, then at least look for a virgin market. Whatever, but find your winning path, winning formula. That is how businesses become big. Without a winning formula, please don't get into the business. Now this, again, I had read it somewhere and I said, let me find one for myself. And the one I found was that I would deliver a very high quality product at an affordable price, deliver on time. So it is called as QCD, quality cost delivery in modern books. And one word I added to it, the word I added was effectiveness of product. Effectiveness I added. But to effectiveness I added one adjective, since the doctors would not believe me. So I said, why not add evidence of effectiveness, the research element, the lab element, so that the data would prove that our products are better than the rest. and that brought reliability. So the first principle that came out of this phrase was QCDER, and we used to call them as the foundation for customer delight. So QCDER, quality, cost, delivery, effectiveness leading to reliability, became our underlying success winning formula, right? But this became the first principle. But there were other four principles which were very important, equally important. The second principle was that we would invest in technology. We would be very tech oriented. So I'm talking of 30 years back. Third, that we would have the best management principles. So I came from the best institute. So we said we will bring in a lot of management principles. If the time permits, I would talk of a separate one small 5-minute lecture on what management principles made Tynor a knowledge oriented company. We are the leaders in India. We are number one in India. We are number one in 5 other countries also. And we are known as a research-based, knowledge-based company. And what knowledge we brought, I would talk of it. Very important, because it will help you if you want to become an entrepreneur later on, right? So that was the third principle. The fourth principle was that we would be very people oriented. We would be people company. For us, the basic principles were that we would treat our people with respect. We would hire the best, pay the best, train them the best, so that they remain retained with us. So that was the principle. To this we added the partnership clause. Anybody who wants to become a partner could become, and partnership would mean that they would have a small share in the profit. Though it also can be called as pay for performance, but yes, it was performance linked, and they could have as much salary as they would demand. So in our company, there is a process where you say, अगर 50,000 किसी दी सैलरी अज हैगी है, वो कहना जी सर मैं तो 5 लाख लेनी है, right? Yes, the HR would permit him, but there is a formula which is linked to the performance, and if he is able to perform, then he can have his mumangi salary, correct? So this is called as the partnership model, which is not very new. I realized it now. The top companies do the same with their top executives. The CXOs normally get the salary ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਮੂੰਹ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਨੇ, but it is also linked to the performance. All CXOs, right? ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ, ਸੁੰਦਰ ਪਿਚਾਈ ਦੀ ਸੈਲਰੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਸੈਲਰੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਲ ਦੀ 145 ਕਰੋੜ। तो 145 करोड़ किद्दां ਹੁੰਦੀ है सैलरी, करेक्ट? इट इज़ अ पार्टनरशिप मॉडल। तो ऐदा ही जिन्ने भी तुसी वड्डे CEOs ਦੇ नाम सुने होणगे, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸੈਲਰੀਆਂ 50-50 करोड़ 100-100 करोड़ जिन्ना दिल करदा है उन्नियां ਉਹ ਸੈਲਰੀਆਂ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ, and we happily give, correct? So this is, we were very people oriented, and this model we created, let's say 20-25 years back. And the last is that we were ethical. The best principle that we adopted was being ethical. So being ethical, ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਵੱਡਾ principle ਹੈ, but no. That is the most important because that gives you the foundation for success. Being a medical company, our products were prescribed by the doctor, and being ethical, we would say we would not give you any underhand money to prescribe any gift, any sample. तो ਉਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਭਜਾ ਦੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਹੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਮੈਂ. Not all doctors demand like this, but yes, 30-40% of the doctors, some doctors might be sitting here, and that's an open fact कि 30-40% doctor, they demand money for writing the prescription. That's a bad truth about our society. Yes, but then we said, okay, we will not give, because we ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣ ਦੇ ਬਜਾਏ we ensured that we put it in the product. Our product was richer than anybody else. Our product was higher quality than anybody else. Our product was rightly priced than anybody else. Our product had the evidence of effectiveness, right, which even the doctor could not deny. As a result, we grew because of word of mouth. Similarly, we did not pay a single penny, never paid in the last 30 years one penny to an inspector coming to our office, to our industry to inspect us, right? ਉਹਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ we made ourselves so strong ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਆਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਮੰਗਣ ਦੀ. ਜੇ ਮੰਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ we would rather fight, ਔਰ ਕਦੀ ਪੈਨਲਟੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਸੀ. But then our resolve was very strong, and that is what made us a strong company with a great culture from inside. So 5 basic principles ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਦੀ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਰੱਖੀ, which actually continues till date and made us very strong. Now let me tell you what Tynor is today. How much time do I have? कर लिए थोड़ा जा. So what Tynor is today? So Tynor is a company with about 600 crores of turnover, valued at about 5,000 crores. We have about 2,500 employees. We are number 1 brand in India. We are also number 1 brand in countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Algeria. So 5 countries we are number 1. We operate in 60 countries. We are the most awarded company. We are the most certified company. We have partnership with our buyers, and buyers like Amazon, like Walmart of US, and we are also now having collaborations, one with the French company Tynor, which is in the same line and one of the top 3 in the world. We also have a collaboration or funded by an American fund, Lighthouse. So today we are well endowed and growing. So this is what Tynor is today. But when I go back and look into what were the game changers, what actually happened during all these years of our existence. So the first was laying down these 5 principles. Second was ISO 9001. Do you know that? Most companies would have ISO 9001 certifications, which is a system certification, but most do not use it for benefit. They only use it for their stamp. Correct? नाम वास्ते ला लेंदे ने, पर वो तुहानू ऑर्डिनरी कंपनी नू ग्रेट बनाने दा तरीका दसदा है, स्ट्रक्चर दिंदा है कि किवें बिजनेस रन करना है. So that was the game changer. Third game changer was that we adopted lean management system, also called as Toyota production system. साडा प्रोडक्ट बड़ा लेबर इंटेंसिव है ते तुहानू पता है 2500 लेबर दे बंदियां नू हैंडल करना, it is tough. Whereas we have the happiest labor force, and they create the best quality products. But the most important, that our productivity is the highest in the world. So we beat China, we beat Europe in our product line just because that our people are very effectively working with us, right? And that is Toyota production system. Toyota guarantees every element of production efficiency, production quality, right? And the third was we were the first ones to adopt 3D drawing softwares. And fourth was putting up the highest technology what the world would offer for our product lines, right? And then of course that we were funded by Lighthouse and France. They brought in so much money that we got into another state of mind. ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕੈਪੈਕਸ ਇਜ਼ ਫ੍ਰੀ, ਜਿਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਕੈਪੀਟਲ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ? That is how the growth came. We also work on principle called as psychology of abundance. ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ। ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਲੈਣ ਦਾ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਐਵਰੀ ਡੇ ਵੀ ਟੇਕ ਡਿਸੀਜਨਸ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਕੰਪਨੀ, ਤਾਂ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਨਾਲ ਲੈਣੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ਐਜ਼ ਇਫ psychology of abundance ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ that you have abundant knowledge, you have abundant people, you have abundant market, you have abundant money, you have abundant technology. So take the decision for one thing, that you should dominate the world. So in 2017 we became India's #1 brand, right? बड़ी सेलिब्रेशन हुई, पर थोड़ी देर बाद ये भी रियलाइजेशन हुई कि 2010 च असी टीचा रखा सी 2017 च असी #1 बना गए, तो 2017 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ बन गए तो उस तो बाद कोई टीचा ही नहीं सी। सो थोड़ी देर बाद फिर असी टीचा नवा लभ्या टू बिकम वर्ल्ड्स #1, बिकॉज इंडिया #1 तो बाद इको ही रह जाता सी कि ये टीचा, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी लेबर इंटेंसिव प्रोडक्ट लाइन, तो शायद ये टीचा for a country like India and a company who's already leader of India ਲਈ ठीक सी। And do you know that a lot of people invested in us just because of that we had that big vision and big goal to us, right? With this I would like to stop here because time is not permitting me to go ahead, but I wanted to talk about a few core principles how to bring knowledge to your company, but then we leave these topics for another day. I still have 5 minutes for anybody who wants to ask a question, anything you want to clarify. If not, then thank you. वाहिगुरू का खालसा, वाहिगुरू की फतेह।
Thank you, Dr. P.J. Singh. Journey of Dr. P.J. Singh, journey of Tynor, एक कंपनी ਨੂੰ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਉਚਾਈਆਂ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣ ਤੱਕ ਕਿਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ, ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲਸ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਣਾ, ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲਣਾ, ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਪੈਸਾ ਆਉਣਾ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮਾਰਕੀਟਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਬੜੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਗੋਲ, ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਅਕੰਪਲਿਸ਼ਮੈਂਟ, ਇਹ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਇੱਕ ਰੋਲ ਮਾਡਲ, ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਰੋਲ ਮਾਡਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਕ੍ਰੈਚ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪੁੱਜੇ? 5000 ਕਰੋੜ ਟਰਨਓਵਰ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੀ। ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਅਕੰਪਲਿਸ਼ਮੈਂਟ। ਜੇ ਅੱਜ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਨੰਬਰ 1 ਤੇ ਸੋਚ ਸਾਡੀ ਵਰਲਡ ਦੇ ਨੰਬਰ 1। ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਸੋਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮਾਰਕੀਟਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਪੈਸਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਏਗਾ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਏਗਾ। ਇਹ ਉਦੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਮਾਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਮੇਲ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਮਾਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਈਮੇਲ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਮਾਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ। ਅੱਜ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀਆਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਨੇ। ਬੱਚਿਓ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਐਂਟਰਪ੍ਰੈਨਿਓਰ ਬਣੀਏ। ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਉਪਲਬਧਤਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਾਸਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਰੀਏ। ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫੇਰ ਡਾਕਟਰ P.J. ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ।